Want to know how to stop limiting your faith? Well, don't skip any of the video, and let's find out together. So there was this really interesting study that was done. I believe it was done on kindergartners, and they were asked a bunch of questions like, how many of you can sing? And pretty much every hand went up. How many of you are artists? And pretty much every hand went up. And they went through a series of questions like that, and pretty much every question had everybody raising their hand. As they went up in the age groups that they were asking these kind of questions to, they noticed that the hands weren't going up like they did with the younger kids. And so they might ask fourth graders, how many of you think that you're artists? Well, maybe only a quarter of the class went up with their hands. So the idea was that as kids got older, they started thinking that they were limited in what they could do compared to when they were in kindergarten. I wonder if sometimes we do that same thing with our faith. Do you remember when you came up out of the waters of baptism feeling refreshed, renewed, and you felt like you could do whatever it was that God called you to do? And while we might not admit it, or we might not even consciously think about it, we begin, as we go down the road a little bit, maybe we start limiting ourselves. Now, what does that look like? Maybe we start saying, well, I'm just not a good singer. I'm not that great. I'm not going to sing out as much anymore. Maybe we start saying, I don't think I can teach that class. Maybe we start saying, I just don't have time anymore to do a bunch of things with the church and to do work for God. Maybe we start thinking that maybe our finances are limiting our work for God. Maybe we think to ourselves, that person, I know I need to talk to them about Jesus, but they're probably not going to listen anyway. I sometimes wonder, were we the disciples that were standing there with Jesus as he's about to feed the multitude, what would our response have been? I would dare say that we probably would have responded in the same way that the disciples did. Because after a while of walking, sometimes we start seeing limitations more than opportunities. But there's a secret that we need to remember. And here's the secret to not limiting our faith. You can't do it on your own. But when we trust in the God who works so powerfully in us, we can do whatever he's called us to do. Look over at Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 20. And here Paul says this, now to him who is able to do far more abundantly than all we ask, that's pretty cool, right? He's able to do more than we ask or think. So Paul says, whatever you think is possible, God's able to do more than that. According to the power at work within us. God is able to work so powerfully through you if you let him. And so here's my encouragement. Let's not limit God working through us. Let's recognize that we can do incredible things because of the one who's working through us. Let's not think anymore things like, well, they're not going to listen anyway. What's the point? Or, I can't really do this for God. Let's trust God. He's powerful and he is working within you. I hope you have a great rest of the day.